All right, guys, I had ran for you. Yeah, on the other videos, I would recommend you will look at the other videos before this one. This one is going to be more into the advance of how to make money in crypto, and with looking at Ethereum, ETH. Um, so on the other videos, I ran with you dropping the average cost. And then I made another video. First method was at dropping that average cost. Second method was 1.0 and 2.0 method. Now I'm gonna run with you a very good other method called the limit method. So let's go over here. All right now I want to show you something. Like I told you before, I'm running at 30 minutes, right? I run the transactions every 30 minutes. When it gets over here, okay, this dotted line here on the RSI, the relative strength index, this is the first line, which is the dotted lines. I call it line 1, stage 1, or you can call it line 1, whichever one you like. Line 2, line 3 is in the middle, and line 4. All right, when it gets to line, this is a perfect example because this is live on Ethereum right now on 30 minutes. Ethereum right now is 1180. Okay. Let's say when Ethereum is on, this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3, right? This is line 4. Okay. Line 1 is the dotted line, 2, 3 is in the middle, 4 is right here. All right. When it gets exactly right there, 1.5, 1.25, that's when you want to buy. Or right there, 2.25, and you sell at line 4. Okay, you buy at 1.5, 1.25, or 2.5, 2.25. You sell at line 4. After line 4 or at line 4, you sell. I do that. Buy in here 1.5, 2.5, and sell it at line 4. I play my game at 30 minutes, buying and selling, so I make my money. All right, but let me show you something. You want to see the real numbers. I told you this before. This is the 20, 50-day moving average, 200-day, and 100-day moving average, right there. Exactly 20, 50, 100, 200, and 100. Correct? All right. Now, those are the moving averages for 30 minutes. All right? Moving transactions, I watch every 30 minutes on the transactions. Now, you want to see the real, put your mouse all the way up to the top of the screen so the numbers will move around you. Now, you want to see the real numbers, which is the real numbers on the day, DAY right there. Okay, now make this small. I'm going to show you something. This is the real deal here on the D, the day. Okay, all you have to do is scrunch this down and make it smaller. Okay, now this is the real transactions. This is the real, with your mouse all the way up to the top. This is the real 20-day moving average. The real 50. When I say 20-day moving average, DAY, this is the day moving average. 20-day, 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day. Now, if you see the difference, what was the difference? The 20-day comes first, 50, which is higher, comes after. 100, which is higher than 50, comes after. The 200 is always on top, because it's the longest one, long term. The 200 is always on top. On the day, on the D, this is always 20, 50, 100, 200. It's always like that. Now, let me make room so you can see the 20-day moving average. the DAY moving average is 1240. If it passes 1240, the next one is a 50-day moving average. It's 1656. Past 1656, it'll go to 2734. Nope, not 27. The top one, the 100. 2349. After 2349, it'll go to 2734. Okay, those are the real 200, 100, 50 and 20-day moving average. So in other words, those are exactly where it sits. You want to know exactly where it sits? You put your mouse all the way to the top and leave it there, and those are exactly the real 20, 50, 100, and 200-day moving average. So if it passes 20, you'll go to 50. Passes 50, you'll go to 100. Passes 100, go to 200. Now let's go back to the 30-day moving average. We'll do stretch this out. Don't worry about the RSI. The one in the middle, stretch this out. Stretch it out. Okay. Stretch this out. Stretch that out too. Okay. Now, this is a perfect example of when you should buy. You see the numbers are a little different. The 100-day is on top of the 200-day on the 30 minutes. Little difference. But that's what you're going to see when you put it at the day, on the 1 day. The 200 is always going to be further on top of the 100. Now, this is a perfect example. Where it's at right now is a good buying number. Okay, 1180. 1180 is a good number to buy because right now it's 2.25. It'll be better to buy right here when it stopped right there, 1.25. Where is it at 1.25? So you go up here when the plus becomes a hand. Basically 1165. So you use your Coinbase app or Robinhood app. You want to buy it low as possible. You want to buy low and you want to sell high. Let me show you something. All right. Ethereum is 1182 right now. Okay, that's where it's at. That's 100% 1.0 of Ethereum. Okay. Ethereum is 1.0 of Ethereum times 1182 is 1182. 1182, 1.0, 2 decimal places, 2 places to the right. 1.0 is 100% Ethereum, is 1182, correct? You want to buy 100% Ethereum, at least. Why do you want to buy that? Because if you buy 50% Ethereum, okay, this is going to happen. Let me show you. If it goes $10, if it goes up $10, you're going to make $10 because you're at 100% of Ethereum. You want to buy 100% of Ethereum. Okay? If it goes up $10, you're going to make $5. If you buy 50% of Ethereum, and if it goes up $10, you're only making $5. You got it? So you want to buy 100% Ethereum. If it goes up 10, you want to make 10. So in other words, it goes up 100, you want to make 100. If it goes up $100, you're making $50 if you're buying a 50% Ethereum. So make sure you buy 100% at least. You want to make 100% of the money. All right. So 1181, it was what? 2.25. 2.25 of Ethereum, right? Let's go back. All the way to the right, 1178, about 1180. About 2.25. That's a good buying time. And if you buy now, sell here. Stage 4, line 4. Okay? Now, I want to show you something. Pay attention now. I'm going to say, if you buy now at, let's say 1180, right now, perfect buying opportunity, right? You do not buy at market. Okay, there's a market and there's a limit. Don't pick market because market is going to take There's fees. Remember, there are fees. These apps, Coinbase, Robinhood has a less fees, a lot less than Coinbase. Robinhood app. Detroit, even though there's still fees though. There's like $5-7 fees. So if you buy at 1180, okay, you want to buy as low as possible. Okay, let's say you want to sell high, buy low. So let's say you put 1170, because 1170 will be 1.5, something like that. Let's say that. Let's use 1170 and 1180 just so you can get a better idea of what this is. So you use limit. You buy at limit at 1170. Okay? Do not buy at market. So what's going to happen is that it will execute at 1165. Why? Because they got to make the money. The app, the Robinhood, that's how they make their money. So at 1165 is when it will execute, because it's got to make they got to make their money somehow. So that's not a problem. Okay, you bought 1170, so they make their money at 1165. They make their money. So in other words, vice versa of that. Let's say 1180 is where you sell. Okay, let's just say 1180. You're using 1170 and 1180. All right. So let's go back right here for a second. So let's say 1180 is stage 4, line 4. Okay. Okay. All right. So 1180 is where you sell. So if you put 1180 as a sell and as a limit, do not put market. It's going to execute at 1185. Why? Because of the fees. So just letting you know a little tip there. When you buy, it's going to execute. Let's say you buy at 1170. It will execute at 1165. Okay? If you sell at 1180, it will execute on the sell, on the limit sell at 1185. It's always $5 or $7 up on the buy. On the buy, it's going to execute lower. On the sell, it's going to execute higher. You got to understand that their fees are there for you to make your limit. Buy and limit sell. All right? Just to let you know the fees are out there. You got to pay aware of the fees. Now, the most important thing, pay attention to what I'm going to say now. What's the beauty of the limit is that, let's say you're buying 1170. Okay? And it's going to execute at 1165, right? All you got to do is when you do the 1170 sell, buy. Let's say you're buying 1170, and all you got to do is when you buy 1170 is just you wait, and that's it. You place the order, and that's it. Once it goes down, it will execute. 1166, 1165, it will execute. You don't have to keep sitting there and waiting for it. All you got to do is put the limit and let it do its job. It will execute. When it goes to 11, a little bit under 170, when you buy, it will execute. And then when you sell, whenever you sell, let's say it's 1180. Like I said, we're using 1170, 1180 numbers so you can understand this. When you sell 1180, is just put it at limit. Put it at limit. Do not put it at market. Just leave it alone. It will execute at 1185 because of the fees. All right. What's the beauty of this is that when you put the limit, it will execute on its own. But just letting you know, it's going to execute a little bit lower when you buy, and when you sell, it will execute a little bit higher. So the beauty of this is that you just do your math. Okay, you do your math, and you let it execute. You don't have to keep sitting there and waiting and waiting and waiting. All right. So let's say 1180. Like I said, 1180 is here. That's like the example we was using, and over here is 1170. That's the example we were using. All right. So let's say you sell here at 1180, and then it goes back down. You see how this line is moving to the right, is going to the right. The relative strength index. Now, if the relative strength index is which the RSI, relative strength index, is this transaction. You see this transaction here? The candles, they're the same. The relative strength index is this transaction. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, if the transaction goes like a V, down in a straight line down and up again like a V, and then it will change. This line, the relative strength index, will stretch. Okay, it will stretch. So in other words, when it goes up like a V, like straight up, see how here it stretched a little, it went a little bit to the right, then that's regular. Let's say from right here it'll go up like a V. If it does that, that means, I don't know, if it's way back down, it'll be a different number. So let's say it's 1170 here. If it goes up like a V and down like a V, when it goes back down, it will be 1190, something like that, because it stretched itself up as it moves in the V position. Because that line will actually stretch. Right here's 1170. If it goes up in a straight line and back down, it won't be 1170 anymore. It'll be like 1190. Because this line will be a different number on the way down, a higher number, because the line stretched. The line stretches, the number actually changes. If it goes up in a straight line, it stretches up. And that's what I mean by stretching up, because when it goes back down in the same position, it'll be a higher number. Pretty cool, right? You gotta know that. So that don't be placing your buys at the same number. You know, you gotta watch. Oh, that's where I bought it before, but this line stretches on you. When it goes back down, it will be a higher number, you know? So you gotta be aware of that too. So this is the pretty much a limit method. So you wanna buy at limit. You don't wanna buy at market. Well, market will charge you a whole lot more fees. More than $75. It will probably charge you, like, the market will charge you like $10.